This guy was saying that the Fire Nation was bad at war. It's a great video. I highly recommend that you watch it. I'll have him tagged in the description. And he makes some really compelling arguments, but I would have to disagree because they only fought in a way that they could, and they were really good at it. For how terrible of a person Fire Lord Sozin was, he wasn't stupid. He knew that his nation was thriving, but that's different in a wartime economy. And the Fire Nation, being an archipelago, does not have much resources nor manpower. This does not allow him to wage a long-term war, because he knew that's what it would ultimately be because of the Earth Kingdom. Simply because the Earth Kingdom is really big, has a lot of resources, and a lot of manpower. And ultimately, Sozin is right. I mean, it is because of the Earth Kingdom that it lasts 100 years. But again, he's not stupid, he's just insane. Bossing Say from the beginning was always going to be the golden nugget, and it's explained throughout the entire show. Once Bossing Say falls, then the war's over and the Fire Nation has won. The only reason why he can't accomplish that is because there's an avatar that won't let him. Sozin doesn't have much time and he doesn't have much resources. And when we look at real-world comparisons to nations that are in that same position, they tend to have a knockout punch because they have to wage war that way. Imperial Germany from World War I is the perfect example. But both of these nations hit a roadblock. For Germany, it was Belgium. And for the Fire Nation, it was missing the avatar. There's no doubt in my mind that when Sozin and his war generals were formulating the plan for war, they had no intention of missing the avatar. Unironically, the best thing Aang could have done was to disappear when he did. He caused them to spend time, resources, and manpower that they simply didn't have. And simply for the sake of him being the avatar, they had to do it. I mean, it's not like something they could have just brushed off. Matter of fact, it's pretty impressive that they lasted as long as they did. You gotta remember, this is one nation against the entire world for 100 years. Not only are they sustaining themselves with limited resources and manpower, they actually are winning the war. I mean, clearly they didn't go after the Northern Water Tribe simply because they just didn't have to. If you remember, they were winning this battle with ease. The only reason why they lost is because there was a god amongst them. For how powerful the Earth Kingdom was, it never at any point was offensive. For what we know, they were completely defensive the entire time. And even taking into consideration the Fire Nation itself, during this time it clearly was a powerhouse. The standard living for Fire Nation citizens was clearly better than everywhere else. Sure, you can say that's attributed to the events that led up to Sozin, but still maintaining the highest quality of living in a world where it's your country versus the entire rest of the world is actually quite impressive. Furthermore, if we look at Fire Nation citizens and soldiers, they're well fed, they're well kept. Fire Nation soldiers have the best equipment and uniforms, and overall, both citizens and the military were in high morale. They believed in the system because it was working. It was wrong, but it was working. Honestly, if they would have found Aang when they did, they easily would have won the war. Aang was a roadblock that they just couldn't ignore, even if it meant that they were using valuable resources. Fire Nation was surprisingly at a state where they're not able to sustain themselves, but also slowly progress the war. In order for them to win it, they had to get this one person, because he's a god. He has the power of a god. And what happens? He's a 12-year-old boy and he wins the war in less than a year. So in hindsight, they really did the best they could.